Society has conditioned us to idolize raw intellect, high standardized test scores, and academic credentials as the ultimate predictors of human achievement. We are taught from an early age that the smartest person in the room will naturally become the most successful, the most wealthy, and the most influential. But this belief is a critical error that ruins thousands of potential careers. Raw intelligence, or IQ, is simply a static tool. It represents your baseline capacity to process information, solve logical puzzles, and retain data. In contrast, emotional intelligence, or EQ, is the actual operating system that runs the machine. The corporate and entrepreneurial landscapes are filled with brilliant, hyper-educated individuals who remain completely stagnant, broke, and frustrated because they possess zero emotional control. They allow a single piece of negative feedback to stall their operational momentum, let anger ruin high-stakes negotiations, and allow their unchecked egos to fracture lucrative partnerships. A high IQ can get you through the door of an elite institution, but a low EQ will ensure you are swiftly kicked out of the room. True, high-leverage success requires you to remain completely unfazed and analytical while the environment around you is collapsing in absolute panic. When you master your emotional baseline, you eliminate the cognitive friction of drama and gain absolute predictive clarity over everyone else's next move. To understand how shifting your focus from intellectual dominance to emotional regulation can completely rewrite your trajectory, look at the case study of a senior software architect named David. David possessed a near-genius IQ and could write flawless, highly complex code faster than anyone in his entire organization. However, his EQ was practically non-existent. Whenever a product manager questioned his architecture choices or a client requested a structural change, David would react with intense defensive arrogance, sending sharp emails and alienating his colleagues. Despite his technical brilliance, he was repeatedly passed over for executive promotions because leadership could not trust him to manage people or handle high-stress board meetings safely. Realizing his intellectual armor was actually an operational bottleneck, David implemented a machine-like emotional regulation protocol. During the next major system outage, while developers were screaming and clients were threatening to sue, David explicitly forced himself into an objective analytical state. He refused to participate in the blame game, systematically validated the panic of the project managers to calm them down, and organized a structured recovery workflow. He stopped trying to prove he was the smartest person in the trenches and focused entirely on stabilizing the emotional energy of the room. This single display of extreme emotional intelligence caught the attention of the chief technology officer, and David was promoted to vice president of engineering within 3 months. He didn't advance by upgrading his technical skills. He scaled his authority by mastering his emotional transmission. If you want to command this exact level of strategic leverage in your life, you must implement hyper-realistic tips to upgrade your emotional intelligence engine. The first micro tip is the execution of the mandatory behavioral buffer. When you receive an aggressive text, an insulting email, or unexpected bad news, your biological default is an immediate emotional counterattack. Break this reactive loop mechanically by installing a strict 60-second freeze protocol. Do not touch your keyboard, do not open your mouth, and do not make a decision. Allow the primitive adrenaline spike to pass through your nervous system completely before you execute a response. When you respond after the buffer, remove all personal emotions and speak exclusively to the structural data of the problem. This discipline completely disarms chaotic individuals and keeps you in absolute control of the leverage dynamic. The second tip is the integration of the perspective audit. Before entering any high-stakes interaction or resolving a conflict, spend 2 minutes mapping out the emotional landscape of the other party. Ask yourself what their primary insecurity is, what pressures their superiors are placing on them, and what win they need to look secure to their peers. When you understand their hidden emotional drivers, you stop misinterpreting their resistance as a personal attack and start treating it as a predictable data variable. You can then tailor your communication to bypass their defenses effortlessly, positioning yourself as an invaluable ally rather than an opponent. The third tip is to treat your self-talk with machine-like neutrality. High-level executors do not waste time in emotional spirals of self-pity or arrogance. When you experience a massive failure, do not label yourself as incompetent. Instead, run a cold post-mortem audit on the system. Identify the exact bottleneck that caused the crash, install a protocol to prevent its repetition, and immediately return to execution. When you normalize this level of emotional intelligence, your mind ceases to be a chaotic battleground of feelings and becomes a streamlined powerhouse of pure, unshakable momentum. Build an external environment that respects your calm focus just as much as your intellect. Fall in love with the machine-like consistency of emotional control and watch your success compound. If you found value in today's deep dive and are ready to upgrade your EQ and command every environment you step into, make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a comment below sharing how you plan to use the behavioral buffer today. Stay disciplined, protect your focus, and keep executing the blueprint for an easy, high-leverage life. Logo outro. Thank you for watching.